In this video, I will show you a way to grow food in a water-efficient way using a wicking bed. It's a particular design that I've used to grow food at home now for over 4 years. When I built it, it cost around $500. First of all, a wicking bed is like a pond beneath your soil that allows water to seep upward about 11 inches using capillary action. Water never touches the surface, and so it doesn't quickly evaporate. This makes it ideal for hot weather, or wherever water is scarce. Using this method, I only need to water about once every 2 weeks during the heat of summer. Not only does this reduce labor, but I can run a wicking bed entirely on rainwater all year with less than 1,000 gallons of rain. The first thing you have to do is dig a foundation in an area with lots of sun. Dig a 4-foot 4-inch by 8-foot 4-inch pit about 1/2 inch deep. Then fill it with about 1/2 inch of sand and level it. Next, you're going to need some boards. I suggest using 6 pieces of 8-foot by 7.5 inch rough redwood, about 1 7/8 inch thick. This raised bed design is one that I use, but you can use any design with the same dimensions. You're going to need to cut 2 of those boards in half. Now you're going to need to cut slots into 4 of the 4-foot boards to make mortises. I use my local lumber yard to do the woodworking, but you can do it yourself if you have the skills and tools. With the 4 remaining boards, you're going to cut out tenons on each side. These slide into the mortises. Okay, now our boards are cut. Let's start assembling. Take 2 of your boards and place them in parallel. Now push the tenons through the mortise. Sometimes some sanding is necessary if it's too tight. Cut a 1-inch diameter dowel into 8 4-inch pieces. Then push them into the holes using a hammer if needed. Assemble the remaining boards the same way. Once that's together, flip the whole thing over and staple a 4-foot sheet of chicken wire to the bottom. This is to prevent gophers from coming up from below. Okay, flip the board over again so the chicken wire is on the bottom. Adjust the sand so that the boards are level. Now drill 6 9/16 inch peg holes into the rim. Use a hammer to put in the pegs. Now what you need to do is put holes in exactly the same place in the other set of boards so that the pegs can push into them from below. Lower the other boards on top and slide the pegs into the holes. The pegs should keep the second level boards from slipping. Now cut a piece of carpet foam around 3/4 of an inch thick to the size of the interior of the raised bed and lay it at the bottom. Put a sheet of 5-foot by 9-foot pond liner into the bed. I've used 5mm EPDM with no problems, but 10mm will last longer. Line up the edge of the pond liner with the edge of the raised bed. Fold the excess pond liner and tuck it in behind the flat portion. Temporarily tape the rim of the pond liner to the walls of the raised bed. This is so the sides don't fall into the water when we fill it. We'll remove it later. Fill with 2 inches of water. This is so the pond liner settles naturally into the bottom of the bed. Then adjust the duct tape as needed to remove the creases and air bubbles as best you can. A little looseness is okay. The idea is to prevent the pond liner from stretching when you put hundreds of pounds of water and soil on top of it. Alright, measure 4 3/8 inch up from the bottom of the pond liner onto the side wall. Then cut a 3/4 inch hole into the pond liner using a razor blade knife or similar. Using a pen, put a dot on the wood in the middle of the hole to mark where you're going to drill. Using your guide mark, drill a 2-inch diameter hole in the wood. Screw in a bulkhead into the pond liner hole. Next, attach a short 3/4 inch threaded PVC pipe into the bulkhead to be the overflow. Remove all the tape and staple the pond liner onto the wood. When that's done, line the top edge of the pond liner with silicone glue. This will prevent rain and soil from getting in. Also, coat the outside of the bulkhead for extra waterproofing. Put a 25-foot flexible drain pipe into the water and arrange it into somewhat of a spiral shape. It has to be perforated with holes small enough for water to leak out of, but not big enough to let sand in. Make one end of the pipe come up to the same height as the rim of the raised bed. This is your water input. Attach a cap at the end of the pipe to keep sand from getting in. This pipe is used to fill your wicking bed quickly. Fill the bed with 1 inch of sand. This layer is called the medium. You can also use rock, gravel, dirt, or even empty space too. Whatever you use, make sure it's porous, non-toxic, and can hold up your soil. If you use gravel or rock, you may need to add soil columns since these won't wick. If you don't, you can skip the next step. You can use 3-inch pipe or even 3-inch flower pots for soil columns. These ensure that the water in the raised bed is always touching the soil, even when the water level is low. Fill the bed with your medium until it's 4-inch high or right up to the bottom edge of the drainage hole. Fill up the raised bed with water until it starts to drain. This is your true water level. Adjust the height of the medium and soil columns so that they just touch the water's surface. Put a piece of landscape fabric over the top of the water so that it goes up the sides a little. Make sure the bulkhead is covered as well. Cut holes in the landscape fabric over the soil columns and place them at the bottom of the columns to allow soil to penetrate into the medium. A bit of leaks won't hurt, but best to avoid soil loss. Okay, now fill the remaining area with soil until it reaches the top of the bed. You'll want to use around 20 to 30% sand to ensure the water wicks upward. You can test this using a jar to see what percentage you'll actually need. Usually your soil will compact an inch or more after you water it down. That's it. Now you're ready to start growing food at home in a water-sustainable way. That's how I make my wicking beds. If you decide to build one, leave a comment. Also, consider purchasing the building guide from my website using the link in the description. It contains a parts list and templates that will help you get started faster. Subscribe if you want to see more videos such as how to build a tower trellis, rainwater system, and integrated bokashi. I hope this results in people becoming more independent, healthy, and sustainable. Thanks for watching.